Okay, fun topic today. Fun topic. We did something so serious last night on this YouTube channel. We did a live cast on the Salem witch trials, which ended in the killing of some 20 people. So, kind of macabre, kind of dismal, sad thing to discuss. So today, I thought I'd do something much more fun and talk about one of my favorite pet topics, which is my own beard. That's right. We're going to talk today about why I beard. People ask me all the time. In fact, if you went to Faith Church, if you came to our church, you would know that bearding is kind of a subculture in our little Presbyterian, conservative, confessional, reformed world. We make some jokes about beards quite a bit. I used to have a bunch of beard pictures hanging in the men's bathrooms in the facilities here at Faith Church. And it kind of got to be like we were actually joking about it a little too much, because some of our guys that didn't have beards were getting offended, and some of the ladies were like, that's it, we're tired of beards. By the way, my associate pastor has a much larger, fuller beard than I've ever been able to grow. So he's the champion, and I'm just the protege in that regard. But nevertheless, we get the question, why'd you do the beard thing? We even have, at the end of Reformation Sunday, which is the last Sunday of October, where we celebrate the work of the great reformers in the history of the church, we even do a bearded gospel man team picture at the end of the service. So that's just kind of fun, and all the guys with beards come up and we take a picture. And I always make a joke: beards in front, goatees in the back. We'll allow the goatees, but beards get priority. So the question is why? Well, let me tease around with this topic a little bit and give a couple of quasi-serious answers. First of all, one of the reasons I have decided to grow a beard is because hair grows on my face, and I get tired of shaving it off. In fact, that's the way God made me. I'm a creationist. I'm one who believes in the sovereignty of God and creation, and He ordained that men should have beards, most of us, not all of us, or some sort of facial hair at the very least. And I have this stuff that grows on my face, and to me, that's a simple, very, very modest symbol of my faith in God as a creator. This is what He made me to look like. This is the face that God gave me. I wish it wasn't so thin and gaunt. I look like an emaciated cancer patient. I know my face is real thin. People call me shoe face and whatnot because my face is so narrow. But this is the beard that God gave me. So it's a simple testimony of my faith in God as the creator. And then secondly, I'd say this, and this is a little bit more cultural, relevant now, but given the discussions of gender and sexuality in our culture, growing a beard is a simple way that I can suggest to the world that I am a man. I believe that gender is binary, that there are two genders. There is male and female, and I am of the male gender. I was born that way. That's the way God designed me. And moreover, I do not believe in the gender fluidity, the gender amorphism, the gender egalitarianism of the culture today, which suggests that either there is only one gender, and we are virtually non-gendered beings, or else there's a multiplicity of genders, and our culture can't seem to make up its mind as to which way that cookie crumbles. Is there one gender, or is there dozens and dozens of genders? Well, I say that there's two, and by growing a beard, I'm declaring my allegiance to the traditional Christian conservative view on gender. And my beard is a symbol of that. I am not non-gendered. I am not gender amorphous. I am not gender fluid. I'm a male. And one of the ways that I display my maleness is by growing facial hair on my face. It's a symbol to the world that that's what I believe about gender and sexuality. More than that, and this is a bit of a fun one, but I think there's something special about growing a beard. Name for me, if you can, 3 men who changed the world, all right, that didn't have a beard. And I'll spot you George Washington. So who would they be? Look back in history. Who changed the world and didn't have a beard? Well, I can think of a couple, I suppose. I guess Alexander the Great was one of the first men who shaved, and he shaved because he wanted his army to look like the gods of youth and virility and strength. And so men began to shave after Alexander the Great. But if we're completely honest, most of the men who influence history were bearded men. Think of the philosophers. Think of the warriors. Think of the kings. Think of the great theologians. My goodness. All of your Calvins, your Knoxes, your Spurgeons, they were bearded men. And so there's a sense in which I know I'm not ever going to be historically great as they were historically great, but there's a sense in which I'm intentionally following up in their footsteps as men who lived courageously in their time and place. So there's that. And finally, let me just say this. Growing a beard is biblical. We see that throughout the scriptures, that godly men, they grew beards. And in fact, in the scriptures, there's really only two reasons why you would shave your beard, and you can look this up in the Old Testament if you want to. One of them is that you've been defeated in battle. Okay? There's a couple times, or at least once instance where men are defeated in battle and they're shaved. Their faces are shaved because they're mocked as the losers, and they're sent home with their pants halfway torn off, and it's a statement of shame and embarrassment. The other time is in times of grief. Men would sometimes shave their beards. So being that I have not been recently defeated in battle, nor am I currently in a state of grief, my state of affairs then is to grow my beard in celebration of God, His greatness, and my desire to live out a faithful calling as a masculine man in this crazy, topsy-turvy century in which I have happened to be born to live. All right, so that's why I beard. That's why I do it. That's why you'll probably never see me with a shaved face. My beard may be of various lengths, but you probably will not see me clean shaven. This is my statement to the world of who I am and who God has made me to be. Hey, by the way, just for fun, I'm going to throw some bearded links in the description of this video. There's a great book that I read on the history of beards. And some other fun stuff, and I'll put those as links in the description of this video. Thanks for checking in. Feel free to subscribe if you find my content relevant to you or at least interesting. I'd love for you to subscribe, but you don't have to if you don't want to. There's lots of good stuff on the internet. Thanks for checking in. Love you lots, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.